This is the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping the show on October the 19th, 2012. Our time is 8:45 Mountain, 10:45 Eastern. Our radio show runs AM 640 in Toronto, 630 CHED in Edmonton, QR 77 in Calgary. For those that listen to us in Edmonton, our radio show normally on Sunday at 3, we will be on at 4 o'clock due to Edmonton Eskimo football. We will be on right after the game. Listen for us then. If you ever miss a radio show, they are archived on Harold's websites, HESradio.com and RareColoredDiamonds.com. We have a podcast through iTunes. The show is portable. But for those in Edmonton, we are on next week at 4 o'clock. Later in the show, exciting news from RareColoredDiamonds.com. Breaking news from RareColoredDiamonds.com. Stay tuned for the second half of the show. Very, very exciting news from Harold's company, RareColoredDiamonds.com. And as we tape this show, it's October the 19th. 25 years ago, the stock market crashed in 1987, a day when the street stood still as the New York Stock Exchange plummeted 22% and lost 508 points. And Harold, I remember back in those days, I was just thankful I didn't have any money to lose in the stock market. And I'm sure you remember it very well.
Oh, you better believe I do. I do, and it was a major percentage. Again, almost 25% of the Dow dropped at that point. But then don't forget, in 2008, the Dow dropped over 50%, went from 14,000 down to 6,500. So that market is capable of those gigantic price moves. And again, that's why it's a gambling casino. It's no longer a place, that's safe to put your money. You can't retire putting your money in the stock market anymore. All in all, this week was a week that we expected to be choppy because we're at a time when gold didn't break 1,800. So we said, the last couple of weeks show that if gold doesn't break 1,800, we could see a short-term pullback, which we're getting at this point. Nothing substantial, nothing to be worried about. But basically, gold's trading right now at 1,740. We got to 1,790, so it didn't break the 1,800 level and pull back. I see the maximum that the market will pull back is either to 1,700 or to 1,680, and that's not that far from where it is right now. Again, that will only affect you if you're heavily leveraged. And like we say, we would like you to own the metal physically so you don't get into any issues, when the markets start to get volatile. And gold and silver can be a very volatile market. If you own it physically, you don't have to worry about getting into any type of trouble. The silver market, the same situation. Silver's at $32.60. There's very heavy support at $30 and $28. So the most I see the market falling back to is $28. And there's two reasons, actually, why this is happening at this point. Number one, it's a negative time for gold and silver in this particular month. However, that's going to change very, very soon. And then the other situation is that it's the elections, and the market did not break through the 1,800 level, which was a key number. But again, these are only short-term situations. It's not going to hurt us in any way. We're still extremely bullish on the precious metals market, primarily because of inflation. The oil market's trading at $93. It'll remain volatile till after the election, which is only less than a month away, and then we see oil prices resuming and going substantially higher. I'm very, very bullish on oil. I believe that oil will be a $200 commodity in the next couple of years. Canadian dollar is still stronger than the U.S. dollar. It's right now trading at 101. We know that the Canadian government does not want an extremely strong Canadian dollar, but I think it's inevitable because, again, I know myself, I own a lot of Canadian dollars physically. I know Russia's buying a lot of Canadian dollars, and other countries are also. Canada has a very stable currency. Again, against the U.S. dollar, as more and more dollars are printed, I believe the Canadian dollar is going to be at a strong premium to the U.S. dollar over the next year to 2 years. you see, at this particular point, it appears that the market, precious metals, is taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Again, but that's going to change very, very quickly. As soon as the elections are over and as we get into the new year, and especially into the first quarter of next year, we do anticipate massive moves coming in the gold and silver market that'll not only take gold above 1,800 and 1,900, which is the all-time high, but eventually take it to the $2,200 to $2,500 level. Same situation with silver. Silver's going to take off and really start to run because it's inexpensive. You're going to be able to buy silver more than likely in the $28 to $30 level, which is a tremendous bargain, realizing that back in 1980, when we had extremely high inflation, silver was at $50. We also saw $50 silver last year. Pulled back to 26, went up to 36, pulled back, and it's going to trade right now at about $30 to $28, which I believe is a phenomenal buy, and I would be buying silver within that range. I'm extremely bullish on silver, and I do believe if you look at the charts on silver going back to 1979 and 80, you'll understand what I mean when you see that silver went up in a straight line. And where gold was much more expensive than silver at that particular point, the ratio between gold and silver at that time came all the way down to 16 to 1, and that's why gold was at 800 and silver was at 50. So all in all, I like the markets at this level. Again, it's not unusual at this time of the year for the markets to back off on profit taking and then add to the situation that the election is going on. And that's why the markets are a little lethargic this month. All in all, that is going to change, and I would be a major buyer of silver, especially at these levels. The main reason that we need to be in the hard asset market, meaning gold and silver, diamonds, situations like art and cars do very, very well, old antique cars, and hard assets, because during times of extremely high inflation, history will tell you that those are the markets that do the best. So to understand what you need to do in an inflationary market with your investments, you got to go back to the time when we had the heaviest inflation, was back in the late 70s, early 80s. And at that particular time, because of inflation, what happened is that in 1972, gold was trading at $125. By 1980, it was trading at $850. On top of that, the silver market in 1972 was trading at $1.25. By 1980, because of inflation, silver traded as high as $52. Oil went up substantially. Currencies were very volatile. In fact, what happened in the United States and in Canada, because of extremely high inflation, the Federal Reserve and the governments had to raise interest rates. And they didn't only raise it a couple times. They raised it substantially, because the first few times that they raised interest rates, nothing happened. So they started raising it a basis point, then 2, then 3, and all the way up to 22% interest rates. A lot of us remember back in 1982 that interest rates went up to 22%. That's how the Federal Reserve in the United States got reinflated the economy, which was by raising interest rates, because during that time, when inflation was just starting to climb and when gold and silver took off, the dollar was very weak. So the dollar went from extremely weak, meaning the U.S. dollar, to extremely strong when interest rates went up to 22%. I believe the same scenario is in the works at this particular point. And evidently, I'm not the only analyst that sees this happening. If you read the newsletter this week, and I very, very strongly recommend you get our free newsletter, if you're not already on our list, just call up and get it, and we send it out to you free of charge. Again, we don't charge for any of these things. We don't obviously charge for the radio shows or the newsletters that we send out or anything, or personal consultations, because we want our Canadian clients and listeners to the show to get through these difficult times and still do extremely well. One wrong move at this particular point can wipe you out financially. Art Cashin is saying that we are at the risk of a frightening hyperinflation. People have to keep their eye on the velocity of money. Watch figures like here in the United States, the M2 figures, which will basically tell you the money figures. Inflation came so quickly that if you have had a comfortable pension, in a matter of months you were ruined. That happened back in 79 and 80. So again, inflation is such a severe situation that if you're not prepared for it and you don't and you don't do something in advance, it's almost impossible to catch, and it can wipe you out financially. That's why we want to make certain that we're in the right markets prior to massive inflation coming, so our clients will be able to reap the benefits of a very smart investment. Robert Fitzwilson expects severe inflation. Time is running out. Start to take action now. The elections are a few weeks away. Sadly, no matter who wins, the trillions of dollars of deficits, ballooning entitlements, and printing will continue apace. On top of that, they're saying that Dylan Grice, before you know it, the Fed is going to get what they wish for, inflation. On top of that, they're talking about Jonathan Caceres saying dollar index disguises global inflation threat. This is all in the newsletter this week. So the fact is that inflation is the number one killer to the financial markets. It can destroy the stock markets. It can destroy the money markets. So basically, we really need to be prepared for this. And if you believe in insurance, which most of us do, we have insurance on our home, our car, our life, and everything, we've got to have insurance on our financial situation. And again, if you wait too long, you're never, ever going to be able to hedge yourself against inflation. What could happen during times of inflation is that food prices go substantially higher, oil prices go substantially higher, and currencies start to fall. That means your currency does not buy as much as you need it to. And that means that you start to suffer financially. You can't go out as much. You can't buy as much. Your dollar doesn't buy as much, and everything is much more expensive. So basically, if you keep your investments the way that they are right now, if you keep them in stocks and mutual funds, you're going to lose most of your money. You're going to be in a horrible financial situation that's going to be very, very difficult to get out of. I would much rather see, instead of you sitting in the stock market, I would much rather see you sitting in total cash and not making any money than taking the risk of losing most of your money in the stock market like we saw in 2008, like we saw back in 1999, and every other time that we had major problems in the markets. Again, there is nothing great happening in the financial markets worldwide. Sovereign debt in Europe is still extremely high, and countries are still on the verge of bankruptcy. The United States keeps getting in worse and worse financial shape, and I don't believe that either one of the gentlemen running for the presidential elections are going to be able to do anything. So the fact is that we've got probably 5 to 7 to 10 years of extreme market situations that if you're not prepared for it in advance, you're going to suffer for the next 5 to 10 years, and there's no reason for that to happen, and Randy and I certainly don't want to see that happen. So basically what we need to do at this particular point, we know that the Federal Reserve is going to keep interest rates in the United States low for at least the next 4 years. And then what's going to happen after that is they're going to have to start to inflate the economy by raising interest rates, and that will strengthen the U.S. dollar, which will give us our opportunity to get out of certain investments. So basically, if you go back in history, again, gold, silver, and diamonds have been the best investments during inflation. In 1972, gold went from $125. By 1980, it was at $850. Went up 700%. Silver was at $1.25. It went up to $50. It went up even more than gold did. It was a phenomenal return. And colored diamonds during 1979 and 80 went up 500%. Stocks plummeted. So the fact is, and so did real estate, obviously, because who can buy a home with a 22% interest rate? So I believe we're heading to the exact same times. And inflation, when it really starts to move, it's going to move very, very quickly. They're going to have to raise interest rates tremendously, and I believe interest rates could go back up to 15-20%. At this particular point, if you do not own any physical gold or silver, I very strongly recommend you do that at this particular point. Again, to be able to buy silver in and around the $30 to $35 range is a steal, realizing that back in 1980 it was at $52. And just last year it was at $52 until they did certain things in the market to bring down the price of silver, like raise the margin requirements and make it very expensive to trade it. I'm very bullish on precious metals, hard assets in general. I believe the 3 or 4 best markets to be in at this time to fight inflation is physical gold, physical silver, physical diamonds, and oil. There's an ETF that you can buy. There's several oil ETFs. I happen to like U.S. oil. There's no doubt in my mind, even without an Iranian-Israel skirmish, I believe that oil is going to $200 over the next few years. It's trading at $93 now. I believe that gold by next year will be trading somewhere between $2,200 and $2,500. I think silver is going to be well over $50 and trading closer to the $60, $70, $75 level. Oil prices again could be in the $150 to $200 range, and the currency markets could be all over the place. So again, the most important thing that we could do at this particular point, and again, you're better off to be, a year early than a day too late. So I would be in the hard asset market for certain. I would definitely lighten up on stocks, as most people do have them. I would rather be in cash than be in the stock market at this point, especially going into the end of the year, because you've got the Bush tax credits coming due, and that could drop the stock market possibly by as much as 30 to 40%. You don't invest in stocks in this type of economy when countries are going bankrupt and the U.S. owes $16 trillion. They're not going to snap their finger and get out of it. There's only one way that they know to overcome the $16 trillion deficit and to somehow get the economy back on track is to print money. And in the most simplistic of terms, what does it mean to print money? You literally go to the Federal Reserve. That's what they will do. They'll print it or electronically create it. And what it basically does is it reduces the value of the dollar tremendously, so it doesn't buy as much. And that's inflation in its most simplistic form. So basically, as the dollar continues to fall and fall and fall, and less buying power, it's just going to bring on massive inflation. It's actually very, very simple. So all we need to do at this particular point is look at your financial situation and figure out where your risks are. According to what I see, there's a major risk being in the stock market at this point. In 1999, the NASDAQ dropped from 5,000 down to 1,000. On top of that, in 2008, when the financial world almost crumbled because Lehman going under, and there was almost a $4 trillion run on the money market funds, which would wipe out the banks, that's how close we came to financial destruction. So again, if it's possible that it happened then, it's possible it could happen again in an even worse situation. Why in the world would we not want to protect ourselves? Again, I cannot emphasize enough how dangerous the markets are right now and how dangerous they're going to get going into next year. Physical gold, physical silver, diamonds, and oil will get us through these extremely difficult times. And if I'm right, which I 100% believe I am, and interest rates go back up to 15, 20%, when we do cash out of our hard assets, how great is it going to be to make 10, 15, 20% on our money again? Randy, again, these are concerning times. It's not only us that's saying that inflation is coming. Some of the most brilliant minds in the world are saying the same thing. But again, you don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to realize that inflation is coming just strictly because of the currency devaluation and high prices of oil and food.
Protect yourself. If we are right, even half right, you will be very happy that you had that allocation of hard assets. The company Harold recommends you use, Canadian company, in business for over 10 years, Worldwide Precious Metals. Their website, wwpmc.com. The telephone number to connect with them, one call away, 1-866-623-2002. 1-866-623-2002. Their website is wwpmc.com. They're there to help you manage your precious metals investment account. You can trade the market if you want, buy or hold, maximize profit, minimize the risk. That is their goal when they are helping you. They're the experts in this very specialized market. And remember, this is a liquid asset you can buy and sell with a phone call. Speak with them. They're the experts. Let them educate you why you need to protect yourself during the economic times we're in. And get our free weekly newsletter from Worldwide. You can read those stories about inflation. 1-866-623-2002, the website, wwpmc.com. One of the stories that I think is very important this week in our newsletter in the gold section, not so much for what they're saying about their price targets, but what they're saying about the seasonality of the gold and silver markets. CIBC, they say $2,200 gold is just around the corner, and that is from two analysts, Barry Cooper and Alec Kodatsky. They believe that quantitative easing is going to continue the gold rally which obviously sort of kicked off here when they announced it about a month ago. The important part in all of this, and here are some of their targets: short-term $2,000 gold, $35 silver. And on the other medium target, we're looking at $2,200 gold and $38 silver. But here's the important part. They say we are about to head into the strongest month for gold performance. And indeed, in looking at the next 4 months, investors could capture 56% of the annual gold gains and a whopping 66% of the annual silver gains by holding the metals over the period November to February. In contrast to the common belief that September is the strongest month for gold bullion, it is actually November that shapes up better, with December being the third best month for the gold price responses over the last 10 years. Get that story in our newsletter, read it over, speak with Worldwide Precious Metals. If you've been waiting on the sidelines, you're waiting for an optimum chance to get involved in this market. As Harold said earlier, we made it very close to 1,800. A lot of people believe once we get past 1,800, we are off to the races on gold, and silver will follow along. Take advantage of the seasonality of gold and silver, that trade. Speak with Worldwide. And Harold, we have about 2 minutes left in our first segment, and we do have breaking news from rarecoloreddiamonds.com at the beginning of the second segment, so definitely we want people to hang in there. Very exciting news. But when we have these stories, it's important you get the newsletter, read them over, verify it for yourself. At the same time, take action, because we have a great opportunity here.
You bet. Again, if the news is negative, which again it is all over the world, and again it was caused by stupidity and greed, and we're all paying for it right now, there are solutions to it. Again, for every action there's a reaction. For every winner there's a loser in the market. All we need to do is be on the right side of the fence, and I believe 100% that we are. With gold, silver, oil, and diamonds, I believe we will get through these difficult times, and our clients will do extremely well. We've done phenomenally well over the last 10, 11 years. I believe the best is by far yet to come.
Connect with Worldwide Precious Metals. Their telephone number, 1-866-623-2002, 1-866-623-2002, the website wwpmc.com. And it was interesting this week, Bill Fleckenstein said, it should be obvious you can't run a printing press to finance government debts. And it is obvious, but yet they're getting away with it. It is not clear to when this will end or what will be the catalyst to make it end. Also, John Embry said, Jim Sinclair correctly identified there would be QE to infinity. And he has talked about this, but I still don't think people truly grasp the horror of the destruction that will take place in terms of the loss of purchasing power in the various fiat paper currencies as the printing presses are really heating up. That from John Embry. And that's what you want to do, is protect the money you have. Protect it today. Gold and silver have resumed their role as a store of wealth, protecting you against the decaying purchasing power of your paper assets. Now's the time to look at hard assets, and Harold recommends you speak with Worldwide. WWPMC.com is their website. The telephone number, 1-866-623-2002. Going to come back and talk about diamonds this week. The news on diamonds, simply stunning. It you won't believe it when we come back as the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall, continues right after this. Welcome back to the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping the show on October 19th, 2012. Our time is 9:10 Mountain, 11:10 Eastern. Our radio show runs on AM 640 in Toronto, also QR 77 in Calgary, 630 CHED in Edmonton. Next week in Edmonton, we will be on after the Edmonton Eskimo game after 4 o'clock. At 4 o'clock, we will be on after the Edmonton Eskimo game. Keep that in mind. The company Harold recommends you use when it comes to investing in precious metals, worldwide precious metals. WWPMC.com is their website, telephone number 1-866-623-2002. Connect with them. Get our free weekly newsletter. It's a must-read every week, the companion to our radio show. Don't forget, our radio shows are archived on Harold's websites, HESradio.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. We have a podcast, which is free through iTunes. The show is portable. If you miss us on any of the radio stations, you can catch us on the Internet. And rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Before we get to our breaking news, our featured diamond of the week is a 0.45 carat radiant cut, fancy purplish pink argyle. It is simply stunning. It is a beautiful diamond. You can see the video on rarecoloreddiamonds.com, the featured diamond section, or you can click the link in our newsletter and see it. It is absolutely stunning. Now we get to the breaking news from rarecoloreddiamonds.com. A fancy yellow diamond ring was sold on October 15th, 2012 by rarecoloreddiamonds.com. It was a 4.21 carat, internally flawless, fancy vivid yellow Asher-cut diamond with two surrounding yellow diamonds, sold October 15th, 2012 by rarecoloreddiamonds.com, valued at $1.2 million. $1.2 million. And we have this release in. It's a press release, has been picked up all over the Internet. We have pictures of the diamond. There's a video of the diamond. We have the release from rarecoloreddiamonds.com and hsfineauctions.com. Also, go to fancyyellowring.com and you can see all the information. I've included photos of the ring in our newsletter. The website, fancyyellowring.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, and hsfineauctions.com. Harold, it's just ironic, too, and we'll talk about it. The Wall Street Journal yesterday, and this was not planned, but the Wall Street Journal yesterday had two stories on yellow diamonds. And I know you're going to include that in a presentation you're doing in Colorado very, very soon. But congratulations, is Rare Colored Diamonds a major coup, having that ring valued at $1.2 million, and it was sold. It is absolutely stunning, and everyone can check it out online.
It is a very, very special ring. And again, it got picked up by 357 news agencies. So if you don't think that, colored diamonds are big news, believe me, it is. It hit 357 different medias all around the world. Our phones rang off the hook yesterday and all day today so far, people congratulating. It was an amazing stone because, again, it could never be produced again. The three diamonds that were used to make this vivid, yellow, flawless diamond ring just could never be duplicated again. So it's a phenomenal ring. And what we did is we created a website just to show how the ring was made. So even though it's a fancy, vivid yellow ring that of the highest quality and could never be reproduced again, you can go to fancyyellowring.com and look at this magnificent ring and see how it was made, videos of it, how many diamonds were used to make it. It's just absolutely crazy, man. It is one of the most beautiful diamond rings we have ever made, and it's one of the best investment rings that we've ever made for our clients. So we're extremely excited. Again, 357 media agencies all around the world picked up on the story of this phenomenal ring. Vivid diamonds, vivid yellows, vivid pinks, they're the rarest of all, and again, the way GIA grades them, it's the very best color that you can get. And when you buy the very best, you always get the most back for it. We're finding now that our vivid yellow flawless diamonds, and especially our argyle pink vivid diamonds, are doubling in 2 years now because they're nearly impossible to get. In fact, you're going to see very, very few vivid yellow flawless diamonds anymore. In fact, coming out of the mines, there's hardly any. And if you look at our website, and we have and specialize in yellow flawless diamonds, there's only 2 vivid yellow flawless diamonds left in my entire inventory. At this particular point, I have one that's about a half a carat. Then I have one that's 6.5 carats. There's really nothing at this point in between until I get my new diamonds out of GIA. But very, very, very few of them are going to be vivid. So congratulations to everybody that owns vivid yellow flawless diamonds. There's now a tremendous tremendous shortage of them, and the prices are going to go up substantially. As I do get a few in, again, I know they will be on the website immediately and will sell very, very quickly. That 6.5 carat is one of the rarest diamonds in the world. It's an emerald cut, vivid yellow flawless diamond. As far as I know, the only one that exists in the world at this time. That diamond is in the 7 figures, but one of the best investment diamonds that you could ever possibly buy. The featured diamond this week is one of the most beautiful diamonds we've ever had. It's a 45-point radiant cut, fancy, vivid, purplish pink argyle. But the thing that makes it even more rare than the color and the fact that it is an argyle and its size is the fact that GIA graded it as a VS2. Now, we know what's happening with argyle at this point. There's less and less diamonds coming out of the mine, and the quality of the diamonds are falling off. That's why we believe the mine is coming closer to closing, possibly a year or two before argyle figured it would. So this particular diamond, if you look at it on the video that we produced for it, it's going to take your breath away. It's one of the most beautiful diamonds you've ever seen, and one of the best investment diamonds you could ever own. Whoever does buy this diamond will make 8 to 10 times worth the price of it, meaning that this diamond will sell in the 7 figures, and it's at a phenomenal price. You're going to have to call to inquire on it because it's one of the rarest diamonds you'll ever see, and one of the best investment argyles on the market today. 95% of argyle pink diamonds are under a quarter of a carat. This is a 0.45. It's almost a half a carat, which makes it extremely rare. In fact, once you start going over, 0.40s, the prices are going to start to climb substantially because most of the argyle pinks are becoming very small diamonds. These are the most concentrated forms of wealth in the world today. Even though they're small diamonds, they carry more value than almost any other asset in the world. And the fact that the mine that produces them is going to close within the next 6 years makes this one of the best investments you could possibly get. Now, what I've been noticing about argyle is that the clarity gradings have been dropping off. Means that the majority of argyles are SI1s and SI2s, which means that they're very eye clean. You can look at the diamond and not see any inclusions. However, if you look at the argyle tender this year, which is where they take their top 55 or 60 diamonds, take them on tour to 6 different countries around the world, when you look at what came out this year, 40% of the diamonds were I1 clarity, means that you could see the flaws with your eyes. And these diamonds are all selling for record prices. Now, where nobody even knew about argyles 7, 8 years ago until we brought them up, now they're in the news almost every single day. In fact, in the newsletter is that video that came out of the BBC last week, which was on these argyle tender diamonds. And if you haven't seen it, you've got to see it because it's just phenomenal on argyle. And the thing that I was most impressed about, Randy, was the fact that the woman that did the research on it knew nothing about it at that particular point and was so blown away by the beauty and the value and how much these diamonds sell for. A 1 carat vivid argyle could sell for over $1 million. So again, it's the most concentrated form of wealth in the world. Fact is that we love argyle pink diamonds and are one of the largest dealers of them in the world. Most of my clients own these type of diamonds for investment purposes. Now, what's going to happen is that the argyle mine that was discovered in 1985, it was the largest producing diamond mine in the world. It produced over 30 million carats of diamonds a year. But most of those diamonds, of the 30 million, were these low-grade industrial white diamonds. And they're used for cutting other diamonds. Industrial diamonds are very important, but they're not considered in any way, shape, or form investment quality diamonds. What did come out of the mine in very, very small quantities was these magnificent pink diamonds. And about 200 carats a year would come out of the argyle mine, which is a tiny number. If you held your left hand out and they poured the whole years of production in your hand, it would barely cover the palm. That's how small and minute this market is. But you're talking about diamonds that do nothing but go up in value. Argyle pinks go up by about 25% a year, and when the mine closes, which will be before 2018, we believe that once these diamonds run out, so by 2020, I believe that these diamonds will be 10 times what today's prices are. So just think about this. In today's world where you're looking to invest your money, you put the money into the stock market or mutual fund market because you may be comfortable with that, but the fact is that That market is extremely volatile. We've seen when the market has plummeted in the past and take away most of our money, it's not the place to invest during times of high inflation and financial uncertainty. But when you look, and again, to make 25% on your money, you can't make it in real estate anymore. You can't make it in stocks, and you certainly can't make it by putting your money in the bank. But Argyle pink diamonds go up by 25% a year, and within the next 6 to 8 years, this investment could be up 1,000% or 10 times what we're paying today. It means that if you buy a $50,000 Argyle pink and put it away for the next 8 to 10 years, that diamond could be worth $500,000. So again, on a dollar per dollar investment basis, I don't see anything out there that will give you the return of an Argyle pink with no risk. And there's basically no risk in these because they never ever go down in value. It's a simple supply and demand situation. Demand at this time for Argyle pinks worldwide is the highest that it's ever been. It's in the news almost every single week now, but the supplies are minuscule. There's hardly any available. If you go on my website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, and go to the loose diamonds section and look under pinks, all the diamonds up there are Argyle pink diamonds, except for the diamonds that are over a carat. The other 5% of the pinks that are available in the world today come from either India or South America, and they're a little bit more pastel in color. The Argyles are those very deep, beautiful pinks. In actual fact, a vivid is almost red, and red diamonds are the rarest diamonds in the world. They can sell for $2.5 million a carat. So basically, you do not have to be a multimillionaire to invest in the rare colored diamond market. You can get involved in Argyle pink diamonds starting at about $40,000, and the prices are going to increase substantially. So again, if you're sitting in assets right now that are not doing well, that are going to get beaten up severely during, the high inflationary markets and what's going to happen at the end of the year with the Bush tax credits coming out, get out of some of those risky markets. Put some of your money in an asset that gives you a fighting chance, an opportunity to make the maximum return on your money with no risk, as opposed to potentially losing most of your money with substantial risk. Look at our featured diamond this week, the 45-point radiant cut, fancy vivid purplish pink Argyle. It's a VS2 clarity. It's certainly not for everybody. It's a six-figure diamond, but the fact is, whoever ends up owning this diamond will sell this diamond eventually in about the $2 million range. So we're extremely, extremely excited about having this particular diamond. Now, if you go into the loose diamond section, you go to the pink diamonds, you're going to see fancy pinks, fancy intense pinks, and fancy vivid pinks. It's almost impossible to get a fancy vivid pink Argyle today. But look at my inventory of vivid pink Argyles and deep pinks. Those are the two best colors that you can possibly get. The 45 vivid is up there. There's a 51 emerald cut fancy vivid purplish pink SI1 that will literally take your breath away. And one of the rarest pieces in the world today is an exact match set, or an almost exact match set, of radiant, fancy, vivid, purplish pink diamonds. They don't exist, believe me. To get a match set like these, there's a 40% premium at least, and when we go to sell them, they will sell for a literal fortune. They look amazing in earrings, and to be able to make a ring and earring combination of vivid pink Argyles will eventually sell for fortunes, for millions of dollars, and we can definitely do that for you. So look at our supply and our inventory of vivid pink, intense pink, and fancy pink Argyles. Those are the diamonds that you want to own before the prices get tremendously high. Now, the thing is that you may say to yourself, number one, how do I sell them? And number two, who do we sell them to? Excellent question. We have clients all over the world that buy our diamonds, and we're the only company in the world that can resell your diamonds. Every other company out there that is copying us at this point and selling, what they call investment diamonds, can never resell them because they don't have a secondary market. If you're not buying a massive diamond that Christie's and Sotheby's are going to sell, how are you going to sell that diamond? I can assure you that if you take it to a jeweler or whatever, they're never going to give you what that diamond is worth. So we built H. Siegel Fine Auctions, the only live auction website in the world that sells these type of assets, smaller diamonds, emeralds, rubies, and sapphires, and very high-end gold and silver collectible pieces. So we built this for you, our listeners and our clients, because again, What is the point of buying a diamond and not being able to sell it? So we are going to resume our auctions. We were planning on having one in October. It's just been too unbelievably busy since I got back from Colorado. We will be having it in November. I will be announcing the date. Now, this auction website is state-of-the-art. It's live, so I sell every single piece that comes up for sale. So far, our track record has been sensational. 90 to 100% of the pieces that have been put up on our auction site have sold. I've mentioned in the past that Oprah Winfrey took 100 women last year to the Argyle mine in Australia, gave all of them an Oprah pendant made of beautiful little pink Argyle diamonds. A woman came back, was in dire need of money, asked us if we would buy the necklace from her. I convinced her to put the necklace on our auction site, and it sold for 6 times what the woman wanted for it and was ecstatic. So again, we're the only company that can resell your diamonds for you. If you're purchasing investment diamonds, I would love to have your business. I would like you to look at our website. We've been in the business the longest. I've got the largest supply, and I put my money where my mouth is because I own every diamond that's on this website. The other diamonds you want to look at, aside from the Argyle pinks, are the yellow flawless diamonds. They're in the news everywhere right now. If you look at the newsletter, there was 2 major articles that came out the same day on Thursday that our press release came out on our yellow diamond, and I got to tell you, it's phenomenal. The press release hit 357 different medias all around the world that picked up on yellow diamonds. So what's happening at this point is just a phenomenon. There's 2 articles that are in the newspaper this week, in the newsletter this week. One of them is called Yellow Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, and there are 12 different pictures of yellow diamonds that will literally take your breath away. When you see those diamonds, you're going to understand why yellow diamonds are one of the best investments you could possibly make, and all of our yellow diamonds are flawless, of the highest quality. I've got a 30-carat fancy intense yellow internally flawless diamond that would sell in New York for $3 million that I sell for $1.6 million. So basically, we want our clients to do extremely well. My wife will be wearing a 30-carat diamond to the seminar that we're doing in Edmonton, a very exclusive seminar. She'll have on that day over $10 million worth of diamonds on her ears, on her neck, on her wrist, and on her finger. Yellow diamonds are in the news, and you got to get the newsletter this week and read about yellow diamonds are a girl's best friend. And when you see the diamonds that are available, you'll understand exactly what we're talking about. Yellow diamonds are phenomenal. The next article was called The New Color of Luxury, Yellow. And when you see this one, again, you're going to see diamonds that absolutely defy description. And I have those type of diamonds put away for you. We have yellow diamonds starting at $15,000 and going all the way up into the multi-millions. Yellow diamonds, and they have to be flawless, are the best, one of the best investments you could possibly make. Number one, they're in very, very tight supply. They're very difficult to get flawless yellow diamonds. Number two, they go up by at least 25% a year. They double every 4 years, and during times of high inflation, 1979 and 80, gold went to 800, silver went to 52, colored diamonds in 2 years. Yellow flawlesses went up 500% in 2 years. We're going to see a similar situation. Prices are on the rise. We're going to see a price increase by 25% at the end of this year on yellow flawless diamonds. So again, if you're not in the market at this point, now is an excellent time to do it because we do not mark our diamonds up heavily. We make our money when you sell your diamond. When you sell your diamond through us, when you buy a diamond through rarecoloreddiamonds.com, we will sell it for you through H. Siegel Fine Auctions, and we only take 10% of the profit. So if you buy a diamond, let's say for $20,000 and sell it for $100,000 in the next 5 to 10 years, you make the majority of the profit. We get the 10% of the profit only. So if we don't do a great job for you, we don't do a great job for ourselves. You know, I've been in business 35 years in the financial business. I've traded, gold and oil and commodities and currencies and grains, for 35 years now, and it's something that I've always loved to do. But the rare colored diamond market is my true love, and to be in this business and to be able to touch and play with these diamonds on a daily basis and see the response that we get when our clients open up their package and see these diamonds, it's like nothing you've ever seen before. The fact is that when you get your statement at the end of the month on your mutual funds and your retirement funds and all that, you shred it, you're upset, you haven't made any money. In the last 5 years, you just almost maybe got back to break even. In 5 years from now, or 10 years from now maximum, a $20,000 yellow flawless diamond will be worth $100,000. They double every 4 years. So 4 years from now, a $20,000 investment will be worth $40,000. 4 years later, $80,000. 10 years from now, you're going to have a $100,000 investment back. Put that in your retirement. Put that in your safety deposit box, because I can assure you, you take $20,000 and put it into the stock market and $20,000 into a flawless yellow diamond, in 10 years from now, you're going to be way better off with your diamond than you are going to be with your stocks. The other thing is portable private wealth. Nobody knows that you own it. You can walk across a border or do anything, with diamonds in your pocket. We're not saying that, to try to beat customs or anything like that. That's a farther thing from what we're saying. But over the centuries, that's how diamonds have always been transported. More normally in the breast pocket of a men's jacket type of thing. So it's always been portable private wealth. With the world the way it is right now, it's one of the most important assets you could ever own. Get our newsletter this week. Read all about Argyle. Read all about these yellow diamonds. You're going to see our press release. I'm so proud of it because, again, it got picked up by 357 news agencies all around the world. That tells you that there's a tremendous interest in this particular market, and we are the leaders in it. We have more yellow flawless diamonds and more Argyle pink diamonds than anybody in the world. And the reason for that is because I buy them and I believe in them, and that's where I put my money. My children own them, my grandchildren own them, and almost all of my clients own them. I very strongly recommend, if we're going to get through these difficult financial times, you need to be in physical gold, physical silver, own some oil, and definitely put away some diamonds for your future. And we're not only going to get through these difficult times, but we're going to make an awful lot of money.
RareColoredDiamonds.com. RareColoredDiamonds.com. Connect with Harold. He will speak with you personally, privately, about the diamond market. 1-800-432-1022, 1-800-432-1022. And definitely get our newsletter from Harold. Outstanding stories this week on diamonds. RareColoredDiamonds.com. We have our featured diamond. We have the press release on the fancy yellow diamond, the pictures as well, the stories Harold mentioned from the Wall Street Journal on yellow diamonds. And one thing Harold didn't touch on was the Christie sale, magnificent jewel sale, New York City on Tuesday. We have stories on that auction as well. We have auction results, and the auction results were outstanding. To give you an idea, Lot 205, an unmounted oval-cut colored diamond, fancy, intense yellow diamond, natural color, internally flawless clarity, excellent polish and symmetry, weighing approximately 68.35 carats. The estimate on it was $2.2 million. It went for $3.1. Also another lot, 249, a colored diamond ring by Galt, set with a pear-shaped fancy light pink diamond, weighing approximately 10.52 carats, flanked on either side by a tapered baguette-cut diamond, mounted in platinum. The estimate on it, $900,000. It went for $2.2. And you can go through all the auction results. In fact, there's one more. Lot 132, a colored diamond ring by Van Cleef and Arpels. A beautiful diamond ring, weighing approximately 28.2 carats. And the estimate on it was $700,000. It went for $902,000. And there are many, many, many more auction results in our newsletter. Get them from Harold. Connect with him, RareColoredDiamonds.com, or call 1-800-432-1022. Harold, we have approximately a minute left. This is 1 week where people need to get the newsletter from you, speak with you about diamonds, because as time goes on, the information flow is just confirming what we've been saying for the last 7 years. Everyone is moving into diamonds.
You better believe it. I've never been more proud of almost anything that I've ever recommended. I've been in the investment business 35 years. I've been on the radio for most of my career. And I've had some huge winners, and I've had my share of losers over the years, there's no doubt. But, 7 years ago, I wrote an article called Rare Colored Diamonds, the Best Kept Secret. Nobody had ever heard of them and ever written about them before. And now it's almost a daily thing. So, again, congratulations to all of our listeners and clients that are in the rare colored diamond markets with us. All those that are listening that have not gotten in, we recommended gold at $250 and silver at $4 and oil at $19 and the euro at 87 cents. But I still do believe the rare colored diamond market is one of the best recommendations that we've ever made, and I've never, ever been more proud of a recommendation that I've made so far.
Thank you very much, Harold Siegel, for another great show.
It's my pleasure, and I wish everybody a wonderful weekend and a very profitable day.
Speak with Harold about diamonds, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, 1-800-432-1022. Take a look at hsfineauctions.com. Also, on the metal side, Harold recommends Worldwide Precious Metals, wwpmc.com. Their telephone number, 1-866-623-2002. Get our newsletter from Harold or Worldwide. That's it. Another edition of the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall. We will talk to you next week.